Hannibal and the woman clothes with the sun, or
Yes.
and the woman clothes with the sun.
That
Yes, I
the
got it.
titles were super confusing. Like I had a whole bit that I did in my latest Hannibal review where I explained why they're so incredibly similar but different because they correspond to like the different paintings and
Yes,
the Red
the
Dragon
William
set.
Blake paintings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I got confused with that too. I was like, oh, why? They're the same name. Why are they doing
Mm-hmm.
that? And then, yeah, I caught it eventually too. So
Yeah.
fun stuff. In this episode, we have more reinterpretation of the Red Dragon story. So I'm pretty much just I'm on. We're both on board with this point. It's just
Mm-hmm.
how well this stuff's executing, and it's so delicious and beautiful, and it's the best show on TV. But why this episode is so great in particular, I think, is we're getting to see more of Francis Dollarhide and understand his twisted machinations in his mind and how he longs for companionship and to be free from the great red dragon, and he wants to become something better and in a actually decent way. I think he wants to be a
Mm-hmm.
better person, and the red dragon won't allow him to do that. Of course, it's all within the confines of his mind, but
Right.
how the show illustrated that with the bombastic opening of what's the actor's name? Richard Armitage in the
Mm-hmm.
Great Red Dragon suit, and he just like I never thought I'd see anything like that from this show, but I don't know what I was expecting. It
Yeah.
was that and the scene of Reba as the woman
Mm-hmm.
clothes with the sun.
Yes, more
Those,
psychedelic love.
yes, that was another trippy sex scene from Hannibal, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Those would not work in like a normal TV show. Those would come off as pretty
No.
goofy, I think. But here, it's like, yeah, it's Hannibal. It's about par for the course at this
Yep.
point. Yeah, what did you think?
I loved it. And I will tell you, I actually got to watch this episode twice, which I normally don't have time to do, but I was actually drunk Saturday when I was watching it the first time.
Hey,
So it was a very different experience for me then. So I decided, I was like, I will get sober Emily to weigh in on this. And I mean, I got even more out of it the second time, of course. I wanted to just savor every piece of, for example, Will and Bedelia's conversation as we got to go further into her origins and who Bedelia truly is. I mean, I think that we all got the sense that she's never just been the cut and dry victim, even like she's painting herself to be in front of this whole like lecture hall filled with people that are listening to her story about how she was swallowed by the beast and how she unbecame who she was, sort of the opposite of like Frances Dollarhide's becoming, how she was sort of like the opposite. Um, but really, I think that Bedelia has been in a process of becoming as well. And we see sort of how Hannibal sent her basically this little wind-up toy who at some point was going to crack, um, and we really get to see exactly how she responds to that situation and how it reveals her darkness. And so for as much as we thought that maybe Bedelia and Will were sort of one and the same, like back when Bedelia told Will when he was still in prison, I believe you. I mean, she still believes him for sure, but they both come from very different places. So there's, I mean, I just want to like make an entire transcript of that conversation and just really soak it in because everything Bedelia has to say is it's every bit as creepy and cunning as the words that Hannibal himself would spin. I mean, I'd like to she really is the bride of Frankenstein.
oh,
And is
absolutely.
oh yeah, just as bad as if I mean as Hannibal himself, if not something else entirely, because she considers herself capable of great empathy as well. It's just the fact that she has it within her even then, to be cruel. We see her like reaching out to try and help Zachary Quinto's character, and then at the last moment just plunges in, like when she has the opportunity, like, I'm trying to help you, I'm
Oh,
trying to help you. And then, oh man, that was so ridiculous. But yeah, just as far as visceral moments go, we got quite a few in this episode. Love the stuff with Frances Dollarhide, and the sex scene was great. Getting to see it a second time was every bit as transcendent. And I really enjoyed this. It's hard to believe that we only have 3 episodes left. Like,
I don't want it to end. No one wants it
no.
to end. Yeah,
I'm not ready.
yeah, me neither. But let's focus on the now. Unfortunately, when Zachary Quinto's patient character started choking
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
coughing, I felt like I was choking and coughing too, and that
Yeah.
made me very uncomfortable. That's
Yeah.
not a good feeling to have.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I was trying really hard not to think about it, but like there it was. And like this is something that we have danced around the edge of for so long. And wasn't it that the original story was that her patient attacked her as
yes,
well? Which is
yes,
definitely not the case. And it's not that she attacked him necessarily so much as that she was like Hannibal reincarnated for this guy. This guy was like trying to get away from Hannibal and then comes to find out that he is being prescribed the exact same medication that Hannibal tried to, except from Delia. So it's that sort of like crazy deja vu trigger everything. But I'm really glad that we got to see that. I mean, I didn't even know if we were going to get to see Bedelia before the season was over. Like I wasn't actually sure about that. So super exciting to have her back in
yeah.
the mix.
I was in the same boat. Like I didn't see how she would fit in, and she fits in
Mhm.
nicely. I think I don't think it's like the material is handled well and very well as
Mhm.
always with the show. I don't know how it's necessary yet, even though it's so
Right.
good. But
Right.
this show, it's nothing's done for granted. You know, nothing's done
Mhm.
for no reason. So I'm sure
Yeah.
it'll tie together nicely. And again, she does tie into the theme of becoming, as this season is
Mhm.
handled so well.
Yeah.
And the final moment is one that had me on the edge of my seat because, as usual,
Mhm.
the show harkens back to material that we've seen in both books and movies, and then spins it in its own unique way. I was just on the Talk Film Society podcast talking about this and how the season 2 finale, it pretty much sets up the famous uh, version of the story where Will Graham captures Hannibal, but you only see it in
Mhm.
the Red Dragon adaptation movie by Brett Ratner,
Right.
and then they flip it. They have the scene play out, but they end it with a completely different reaction of 4 characters lying dead on the floor or dying on
Mhm.
the floor. And then
Yeah.
this one kind of has a similar thing where Will Graham does go to see the painting and such, and Francis Dollarhide goes to see the painting and he needs to consume it so he can stop haunting him.
Yeah.
And they don't run into each other in other iterations. So that
Mhm.
was exciting. And Francis Dollarhide
Yeah.
is a big man, so naturally
Mhm.
Will kind of gets tossed around and it was so
Yeah.
exciting, and I need more. I need more now, but I also don't want it because then it'll be over.